Hello, everyone. We didn't get to do this last year, but it's pre-3 time. Woohoo! John is here today, as well as Stealth. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
We're happy to have you. Unlike last year where we didn't get to have E3, this year we do, and it's all digital because obviously we don't want to do a live event. Not that it matters for most of us at home who just watch everything anyway. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year because we didn't have it last year, and it's always fun when it's the first E3 after new consoles launch because this is when you're finally going to be getting like really true exclusives that really take advantage of it compared to first year where it's like, oh, we're kind of doing ports or this game was coming out later in the console, so we're just kind of going to move it to the new one to show off like one little thing. I'm really excited for it. How about you, John and Stealth?
How substantial do you think it's going to be, though, given that while it's good that we're having one in the first place, we are still recovering from said pandemic? Vaccinations are not entirely rolled out yet. Things are not opened up as much as they should. And only now, starting as early as this year and late last year, we're starting to see the after effects of offices being shifted majorly or just closed down entirely. So, uh, to me personally, I'm excited that the event is happening at all, granted, but I'm not expecting much from any company that's listed to participate in the event at all. I'm gonna be expecting a lot of Dragon Quest 12 title screens. You know what I mean? Like things will be confirmed to be in development, but I'm not expecting much in teasers or first looks or world premieres. It's just going to be, hey, it's good to be back. We just want to confirm that we're making this and that, but we don't have much to show you because we're just getting everybody back in the offices if we're allowed to do so at all. So I'm keeping things very level, below the bar at that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the excitement of each title, is going to be different for each person, but I am excited to see Microsoft's event. I'm excited to see the Nintendo Direct. I'm excited to see what Square Enix has, what Bandai Namco has. I am excited to see what everyone brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's pre-3, but it's really kind of pre-3 Summer Games Fest, whatever Sony decides to do, because they're not going to go all month without doing something comparatively. I guess what we tend to do is we usually start with more of the third parties and end with the big console guys. So, any particular company you guys want to start with? Maybe Sega, because we kind of just got the Sonic Mini thing just the other day.
Yeah, that works for me.
So,
All right, so I mean, we kind of got the Sonic stuff out of the way, which is good considering all the only real major news is that we got the tease for the next game, which we knew was eventually going to come. It was a matter of when. Sonic's going to have a decent year, all things considered, I think, between colors and the collection. But Sega's really been on the ball lately, honestly. I mean, we got Streets of Rage 4, and that's getting DLC. We got, Yakuza is finally taking off in the West the last couple of years. So I'm curious as to what they're going to be showing at both
whatever
E3 or Summer
whatever they
Games Fest.
decide to do, they just need to keep doing it because it's great that Sega is now in a place in the West anyway. I'm not entirely sure how it isn't over in Japan and all that, but it's been kind of a depressingly running theme where Sega is only Sonic. Where if they're not making a Sonic game for that year, what does it matter? But it's like over the years they've managed to slowly transform that image into no, they're a company that makes multiple franchises and IPs. It's not just Sonic. You play Yakuza and all that sort of thing, and I'm hoping that continues because there are definitely more properties that Sega could definitely focus on. Uh, they just need to go into the Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing list and just say, all right, who haven't we used in a while? Now that Sonic is like taking a rest right now, and they just need to just keep doing that. Like give us a proper Super Monkey Ball game. Maybe bring back Choo Choo Rocket or Nights in the Dreams or
Hey,
Space Channel 5.
that Balan game completely crashed and burned. Now's our time to bring Knights back because it'll look
Yeah,
good by
I
comparison.
know. Quick, do it now. Do it now. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Yeah, I think the biggest game that they actually have for E3 is potentially Shin Megami Tensei 5. A game that is still slated to be released this year. And yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of that game at E3 this year.
I kind of forget that they owned Atlas
Yeah,
now.
they do.
Their parent company owns
Yeah.
Atlas, but it's weird. But functionally, Sega is kind of above Atlas on that hierarchy. It's weird. But yeah, we'll definitely see SMT5. I think they tease that game enough.
Yeah,
So
and haven't there also
'cause
been a few trademarks or for Super Monkey Ball? I think we are due for a new Super Monkey Ball game.
yeah, especially on Switch, where I think it'll do better. I think Nintendo's really going to want to push SMT5, considering Persona 5 blew up,
Yeah.
and it's still one of the most popular things from last generation. It's weird saying it's last generation, but technically speaking, it is. But Persona 5 blew up, and I think it kind of put the SMT style on the map now. And I think Nintendo's really going to try to push that, considering it's not their kind of game to make. So in the rare instance of a third party's filling a niche that they also want, they'll actually push really hard for it. Whether or not we'll see it specifically at Nintendo's or Sega's thing, we'll see. But yeah, SMT is going to be pushed hard, I think.
Is Sega confirmed to have a separate event?
It's one of those sort of. They're in the Summer's Game Fest more so
Yeah.
than E3.
'Cause the funny thing about an all digital event is that nothing is absolutely confined just to the presentation. Social media in one way or another is going to reveal tidbits of this and that product. So, and considering we already got, like, to go back to the Sonic stuff real quick, we got that already under our belts. We might learn something new from another game today or tomorrow in the middle of this recording, because it's just kind of the nature of the beast now.
Quick, the Switch Pro just got announced. Everyone join the GameStop.
Oh, all right, stop recording, guys. We got it.
Any other particular wants or hopes from Sega? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with the Sonic event, and I do consider that part of E3. Sonic Colors is a really good game. I don't understand why the Sonic collection isn't coming out this year. I don't know what is possibly so complicated about it that it needed to be pushed to next year. And yeah, the new Sonic game is interesting, but I'm actually really excited for Sonic Colors Ultimate.
same here.
It's basically because the details from the presentation for the Sonic Central weren't one to one what they ended up following up on social media, which makes me think there was some wires crossed between PR and the folks behind the scenes, because one thing that everyone kind of immediately noticed with the Sonic Origins collection was that Sonic 3 is in the collection, but it's like it's still its 4:3 ratio as originally designed. But then I believe Katie, who's I'm not entirely sure what her role is in Sega.
I think she's the social media manager now.
Right, like Aaron Weber, basically. And she confirmed that that Sonic 3 is getting widescreen support. Apparently, there are a couple of other bells and whistles that the collection is getting that the trailer did not really emphasize, and it's kind of confusing because people had to follow up on that. Like, I'm glad that the collection is going to be more than just just putting emulators, putting ROMs on a glorified emulator and just selling it for $40 or how much it's going for. But I feel that there was a bit of miscommunication, and it's still a little confusing on what exactly is going on with the Origins collection. Colors Ultimate, though, does look really good. I said it before and I'll say it again. I am so confused on why it took close to 11 years to re-release Sonic Colors. Again, Sonic Lost World got re-released before Colors did. Forces got a PC release before Colors did. Like, why wait so long on Colors? Why wait so long to pull the trigger on Colors? Either way, though, it looks great because 60 FPS, clean resolution. That game needed that a long time ago, and I'm looking forward to it.
Right. So I guess that's about it for Sega. I mean, we kind of just want them to keep the ball rolling on their quality games, which has definitely been a nice surprise the last number of years. Any particular company or third party you guys want to talk about next?
Let's start with you, Stealth, if there's anything you want to...
We could talk about Square Enix.
Okay, cool.
Any initial thoughts from your end?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna have a pretty great show. They had this Dragon Quest event, and I guess I can start there. Where they started off the event saying that they had 6 announcements, and really I didn't think it'd be like 6 announcements specifically tailored to the West. And the first game was a mobile game, and then the next 2 announcements were related to Dragon Quest X, which will never be released here. And then we started to get the good stuff of the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D
Octopath Quest
remake,
3,
yeah, which really looks amazing. Then they announced Dragon Quest Treasures, which, at first I thought it was a Monsters game, and then I thought it was like a Captain Toad game. Um, and then they said it was an RPG, and then, they dropped the big one, which was Dragon Quest 12. I don't think actually we're going to see any of those at E3. I think they're going to be pretty focused on Neo the World Ends with You, and Final Fantasy, I think.
Well, E3 is a more Western
Yeah.
audience event, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did the Dragon Quest event specifically for their Japanese fans, and then E3 is going to be mostly Final Fantasy. I think they also had like a big leak
Yeah, they did.
earlier in the
Yeah.
week. Right? Should we talk about that, or do we want to avoid that?
Well,
I think for the sake of keeping people
Yeah.
in the dark, they didn't come here to discuss leaks or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Gotcha.
So
I
we'll keep
mean,
that in the dark.
but
I mean,
considering that Neo the World Ends with You releases in July, I think that's going to be a pretty big focus for them, just because it's coming out so soon.
I'm not entirely so sure about that because World Ends with You is still fairly niche. I think they'll give it more attention than they previously would
Yeah.
have, considering it's so soon. But I think they're still going to have, some big Final Fantasy reveal, whether it's lots of more information about 16 or whether it's, some big teaser for 7 Part 2. They'll have something bigger to kind of outweigh that in the sense of getting people talking. But yeah, 2 will probably be a big thing there. I think they're mostly going to focus on kind of the big Final Fantasy stuff with the occasional 1 or 2 small things they usually have that's kind of different.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm expecting more news from 16 specifically because they just had the digital fan fest for 14 Endwalker. I'm expecting at least a 2-minute sizzle reel for Endwalker because that is due out in November. It's still a ways away. Maybe they'll give us a detail about an upcoming mechanic or something like that. That's as much as I'm expecting, but I am expecting a lot more from Final Fantasy 16 because I am legitimately excited for that one. Like I can't stress that enough, simply because Naoko Yoshida is in charge of that one, or at least has a really big role in it.
Yeah, good old Devil May fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot better chance that we'll see 16 than 7 Part 2. I don't think there's any chance we're gonna see that.
I agree. Because we have Integrate on the shelf in a couple of weeks, right?
It comes
Soon.
out right before
Yeah, in
E3
June.
starts.
Yeah. And maybe they'll dedicate like a minute to say, hey, Integrate's out, upgrade your PS4s to the PS5 version
Yeah.
today when you can actually still get a fucking PS5.
Yeah, and I remember when
But-
they had, I think this was 2 E3s ago, where they had a live press conference. In Final Fantasy 7 Final Fantasy 7 Part 1 was the main attraction, but then they also had, I think, like Final Fantasy 8 remastered, and they had a bunch of remastered games that they brought. So I think we're probably due for some more older Square Enix titles.
I really hope that they do the HD 2D thing with either Chrono Trigger or
Yeah,
like Final Fantasy.
I mean
5
that's what
and
everyone
6.
Oh my
wants.
God.
That's what everyone wants.
Like, fucking inject HD 2D Final Fantasy 6 directly into my veins.
Yeah, I mean, I even talked about it on Twitter. I mean, even Dragon Quest V, which is my favorite one, I'd want. Like, pretty much any 2D game I want for them to do that.
Yeah. Like there are so many possibilities you can do with the old games and just bring it to life in this style. Like, oh my God, I hope it happens. Like, I really
Yeah,
hope it
I mean,
happens
everyone
because
used to joke that like a remake of Final Fantasy VII was like Square's emergency button, and I really think it's a 2D HD version of Final Fantasy VI now.
Yeah.
That or Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's weird. We talked earlier about keeping expectations in check, but at the same time, I'm also like really excited for everything.
Again, it's the possibility
Yeah.
of what might be there, and,
Yeah,
and normally, years prior, I guess when E3 presentations were just like every year, it's the same old thing. It gets kind of a little tiring and cynical. It's like it's gonna be another E3, but you take it away from us for 1 year.
yeah, and we're all hyped
we
again.
go through some sort of withdrawal.
Well, that and I think it's also part of because we didn't get it last year. We don't know what anyone's really doing in that kind of yearly cycle. So obviously we knew about some things. Final Fantasy 16 was shown at the the PlayStation 5 event and all that. So you have a little bit of an idea, but we don't really know because we don't have projects from last
Yeah.
E3 that we know about to think about.
And I think it's kind of the same deal with Sega and Shin Megami Tensei 5, where pretty much every Nintendo Direct has something from Square Enix. So whether Square shows it themselves or something from theirs shows up in a Nintendo Direct, it's very possible too.
Yeah. Now that Square's over, I guess we should move to someone like Bamco. That works for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to lead off with that. Go ahead.
Bamco's in kind of a weird spot considering their main fighting things are still around. Tekken 7 is still getting more seasons, so they'll probably talk about that a little bit. Soulcalibur 6, I think, is just kind of dead in the water at this point. They did a whole thing where they were talking about Klonoa and asking if people wanted it again. And it's like, okay, do they have something up, or is that just, dipping their toes in? So they're kind of one of the weird companies that, aside from, I think, maybe a Tales game, we really have no idea what they're up to.
Yeah, like we know that they're working on Tales of Arise. We know that they have what's that game called? Scarlet something or other. And then they also have Ni no Kuni 2 coming to Switch.
That's ultimately a port, though. That's a known entity, so
Yeah.
that's not, a super big deal.
Yeah, but like as you said with Klonoa, I think a trademark for Klonoa Encore was leaked a long time ago, like when all the other Encore and Deluxe games, a few of which have actually come out, were leaked too. So I do think there's a chance for Klonoa to return. But I do think that their primary focus is probably going to be Tales of Arise.
That wouldn't surprise me. That's probably the closest big thing they have to being released. My curious thing is this ties into a bit with Nintendo, where they released Pokken, and that impressed them so much they got to release a new Snap, which, having played that a lot myself, I think that's a fantastic game. Could that partnership be continuing where they get to continue to do like more Pokemon stuff? That'd be interesting to see on my end if that actually kind of continues from there.
Would you think like another Pokken?
Maybe a Pokemon 2, because I know people have been asking that for a while, because that's fundamentally a good game. It just needs a lot more content to it.
Yeah, and everyone knows that, of course, like they're the development team on Smash Brothers too. So like the relationship between Nintendo and Namco is pretty strong. I definitely think there is room for either another Pokemon game between the two or something else that they could partner on.
I've also heard small rumblings of, with Tales finally getting more and more popular, maybe a port of Symphonia to Switch, but we'll see.
Oh, that's easy money.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I would buy that day one.
It's not like major, like, leaks or whatever. It's just I've heard rumblings, so.
Yeah.
So that'd be an easy sell. I'd be curious to see what they do with potentially Pac-Man, because they did they worked with Nintendo for Pac-Man 99, which came out when Mario died. So I'm curious.
Oh, by the way, speaking of, I'm expecting a really big resurrection tour. Like he comes out of a coffin like Jesus, and just it's a me.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we'll see any interesting Pac-Man news, because I think that's kind of come back a bit more in recent years comparative to some older franchises they have, like Dig Dug, because Pac-Man's still a name. So every once in a while they have a Pac-Man surprise.
Well, it doesn't help that he just celebrated his 40th anniversary last year. So he's still kind of in the spotlight in that regard. And from what I understand, Pac-Man 99 is still available, right?
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is,
next
yeah.
99 game in rotation.
It was only Mario 99 for whatever reason. They decided to just stop selling.
Kill him now. I wouldn't mind something Pac-Man related. Just make a huge bundle of like Pac-Man games.
I mean,
that seems to be the thing. It's like you get compilations for next generation and just release them and see what people think.
I mean, not even just that. I mean, the whole remakes and retro revivals thing are also pretty popular. I wouldn't mind seeing another take it Pac-Man world, because the more simple 3D platformers have been making a bit of a comeback with Crash and Spyro and all that.
Yeah.
Pac-Man 2 with touch controls.
Yeah, and one game we haven't talking about, and the official Twitter actually teased it. I think we might actually see Digimon Survive finally come out.
I keep forgetting Namco owns Digimon.
Yeah, they do.
Digimon occupies the space in my head where it's like some ultimate like other thing.
Yeah.
That's not associated with it. It's like, oh right, Namco owns it.
But I think there's a possibility we could actually see that.
Potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if, not to get on a bad mouth of Pokemon tangent too much, but Pokemon hasn't been as strong as it used to be in a lot of public relations ways. I wouldn't be surprised if Namco said, okay, now's our chance to maybe try to push Digimon a bit more as kind of an alternative. I know they're not, I know they don't quite fill the same spot in terms of gameplay or what they're going for, but no matter what they say, Digimon's always kind of going to be that alternate to Pokemon in the mental space.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
If that makes
think,
any
you know,
sense.
it's been in development for a few years. They delayed it. The official Twitter said it's still coming out in 2021. So, you know, if not showing it off at E3, when? That's you know what I think.
All right. Any other thoughts from you, John?
No, I have really nothing to say for Bamco because I got really nothing to contribute besides I don't know. Are they still making DLC for fighters?
Yeah. No. I think there's one character left. I'm not
Is there?
entirely sure.
Okay, I haven't really heard anything from fighters. What feels like for months.
Yeah. Not since Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Super. Okay, so that was the last thing.
Yeah, I actually I
that
think
was
the game is
okay.
done. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure
if,
if there was one character left or if it was done.
Yeah, and I
Right.
think Tekken 7 maybe has a DLC character left. I don't know if Soulcalibur 7 does or 6.
Soulcalibur 6, I think, is just completely done because it didn't sell
It
very
didn't sell
well.
at all.
Seven is still in the middle of like a season 4, I think.
Yeah.
Whether or not they'll get another season, we'll have to see. But 7 and we'll get to Capcom. Street Fighter 5 are kind of in this weird state where they're kind of at the tail end, but neither company wants to pull the trigger on a full sequel yet.
Well, I would say Street Fighter Five again. Not to stay on Capcom too long. Has more to give before Tekken 7 says go because I know there's still a considerable number of characters they still
Yeah, there's
wanna,
like the whole pack
bring
left.
to the table. Yeah, the whole with the rival school character
Yeah.
and
Well, to get on Street Fighter a little bit, I have friends who are big into the Street Fighter competitive scene, and word of mouth is that they were making a Street Fighter 6,
Yeah.
but it focus
Which is
tested
not surprising.
it focus tested super bad, and that's why Ono
Got
left.
Yeah.
Mm.
I actually believe that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me considering the season 5 kind of feels a little out of left field, and people weren't really expecting it.
So I guess the plan is release season 5, release one more compilation, and let that stew for 5 years. I guess you know, because God, it's like it's for me. It's so easy to ignore like the latest iteration of a fighting game until all of its DLC is released, because you know they're gonna re-release a compilation that's sold at a budgeted price that just ends up being a much better deal than just buying the game day one
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
downloading all the packs
And
separately.
Capcom is
And
like
that goes
the
for
most guilty
that's
of that.
that's not just yeah, it's not just Capcom. I mean, like NetherRealm did that with Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, the only one who doesn't do
and-
that is Nintendo with Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
It-
but
it's-
it you know, it's like it's really easy for this to just kind of fall under the wayside. Not to the extent of like, oh, you know, it's like it's like the next yearly Madden, sort of forgettable, but it's also like I'll wait until the game is actually complete before I decide to throw some money down on it, and even then, not as much. I think people are finally starting to see that. Maybe that's why 6 didn't focus test so well.
Yeah, but potentially. Should we just move on to Capcom then, since we were talking about?
Yeah, we
Street
might as
Fighter?
well. That makes a nice little bridge.
Yeah. Capcom is going to be interesting considering Resi 8 just came out. Devil May Cry Special Edition came out. So some other big hitters have kind of just come out already, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, we're still, trying to get them to make X9 after they teased it how many years ago?
Yeah, as soon as the Legacy Collection Part 2, I think, came out for the X Collection, I want to say. Well, no, they released it around the same time, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The most crack-headed prediction I'm thinking is that we get a very, very, very small teaser for RE4 Remake. Because Capcom is always known to strike while the iron's hot when it comes to things that are taking off right now. I mean, it's kind of the reason why they're even remaking RE4 in the first place. I think that given that they already have a ton of Eastern European assets good because of Village, they have enough to drop a RE4 Remake teaser. Something very small, maybe just a title screen, which is like the popular thing to do nowadays. I am somewhat expecting it though. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, the games we know about from them, Monster Hunter Stories 2, the Great Ace Attorney Collection, those are going to show up. My big prediction is a Resident Evil game, but it's not Resident Evil 4. There have been rumors of a Resident Evil timed exclusive for Switch. So I think E3 would be a good time to show that off.
You mean
Really?
the Rumblings of Revelations 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
wouldn't
really? They're
that
bringing
wouldn't
that up
that
again.
wouldn't surprise me. I think my big surprise from them, I think that we're gonna get like a brand new Mega Man, not the X9, not 12, not something. I think they're gonna finally pull the trigger on doing a new Mega Man sub series. I think it's been long enough since 11 that they have confidence in the franchise again.
A new Mega Man game would do well.
Yeah, I would be excited for that.
At this point. So yeah, that would be pretty. That'd be pretty hype. I would hope it's X9.
Yeah,
because I would look into the entry in the X series.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't mind a Mega Man 12.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for X. I would also like a Battle Network collection. I know.
You're never getting.
I know I know I'm never getting it, but that's what I want. It won't stop me from wanting it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a collection, considering the collections have been doing well, and they only have Battle Network and Star Force left. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got one of them as kind of a side
we got
thing.
11 was even possible in the first place because Legacy Collection did so well. Isn't that basically how it worked?
It's hard to say sometimes. You never really know what's going on in the inner workings of these companies.
Still, though, I believe in this current environment, Mega Man will definitely be a hype announcement if they decide to do something with it. But
yeah, I mean,
here's hoping.
Yeah, Capcom has definitely been leaning very heavily on Resident Evil and Monster Hunter lately. It would be nice to see Mega Man or something else that they have.
Beautiful Joe 3.
Oh, I would love that. But
no, Capcom, the DS game doesn't count.
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe skin for Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't there one
you'd have to
already?
have Platinum make that, and they're working on so much right now that they can't get anything out as it is.
If they announce something else with Platinum that isn't Bayonetta 3 related.
Yeah. I mean, they're backed up in terms of games. Like, I don't want them to get anything else.
I mean, I think Capcom could handle Beautiful Joe on their own without necessarily needing
It's
Platinum to get
outsourced
involved.
to third party, you mean?
Or handle it themselves. I mean, it's not Beautiful Joe, while helmed by Platinum employees, employees who went on to form Platinum. It's not Bayonetta, it's not Metal Gear Revengeance, it's not that kind of game. So I think they could handle it on their own.
Oh, every Beautiful Joe in an RE engine. It's like everyone's hyper realistic. Got very gangly smiles and everything's motion captured. But yeah, I personally wouldn't expect. I mean, it'd be cool.
I mean, I'm not saying I expect it at all. Just saying,
but it'd be nice. Yeah. Like fever dreams, basically.
Yeah. Okay. After Capcom, just kind of looking at my list here as companies that are here that are being at E3 or some other thing. Should we move to Ubisoft? Because I know they definitely have a time. And
Oh my god!
Yeah.
We're talking about a company I don't care
Yeah,
about.
I don't care about anything Ubisoft does. The one thing I really want is Mario plus Rabbids 2. That's it. Other than that, I don't care about Ubisoft at all.
I mean, I want a Rayman game, damn it.
Yeah. Well, you want a Remake game every year.
Yeah, and they keep not giving it to me.
I know, but it's like at that point, you got to cut that toxic thread from your life, baby, because it's just bringing you down.
Just bring back Mr. Caffeine already. You'll make the presentation way more
And
interesting.
you also got to let that go too. Mr. Caffey's dead.
Tom
He
Clancy,
died a long time
Clancy,
ago.
Tom Clancy.
You got to move on, baby.
No.
The accident wasn't your fault.
Yeah, from Ubisoft, I expect the same things they usually do of 60% Tom Clancy, 10% Just Dance, 10% Far Cry, and
Assassin's Creed.
10%, yeah, Assassin's Creed.
I'm expecting a lot of, if we're going to go into it, the latest Far Cry game is probably going to get the most attention.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about it.
Why, you don't like Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad? As the
No, it's doing the
antagonist?
whole we're not being political thing. It's like, yes, you are.
You absolutely are.
You can't make a game like this and not be in some way political.
It's like every Far Cry game is political, like to to one degree or other. It's like to suddenly say it's not. Come on, like, come on.
Tom Clancy's apolitical. Or Tom Clancy games are apolitical. It's like, no, they're not. It's Tom Clancy.
I mean, when you have to actually say you're not being political, you probably are.
You probably are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to the shit show that's going to cause, kind of no matter what. And I think this is their first 33 since all of the scandalous stuff happened last year.
Right. Yeah.
So I know they tried to address it at their own thing last year, and that was nowhere near good enough. So we'll see kind of what the fallout is for that. Because I mean, Ease was the guy behind Beyond Good and Evil 2. And we haven't seen that in a while, so I wonder if that game almost got canned.
That project dead in the water, if you ask me. Like, it existed at one point, and it isn't even before the pandemic. It just fucking vanished for what, years on end, right? I think.
Yeah,
like
it's
at
been
least
years.
a couple
Yeah,
years.
I think we last saw it 2 years ago at an E3.
Right. And before that, it disappeared. Like, it's been so sporadic in what the hell is happening with this game that it honestly just feels like something to get people to shut up. And then they just said, all right, fine, we've called the waters, now we can focus on things we really want to do. Yeah, that's very cynical, but it can't help but feel it to some degree exactly that.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting about it, but didn't they delay the Prince of Persia remake?
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to come out in like June? And I haven't heard anything about it.
I mean, when you delay something from like a solid date to like a TBD date, that's when like, it really went south somewhere. When they don't even have like an actual date for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the game I want, but the first look at it was pretty rough. I mean, not terrible, but still pretty rough. Aside from Rayman and your Mario and Rabbids 2, do we have any other particular deep dives into the Ubisoft world that we might want to see come back? Not that they will.
No, not really.
All I want is Mario plus Rabbids.
Yeah.
Anyone for Starlink? No.
No, I don't think so.
All
I want Just Dance already. Because nobody buys the games anymore.
I guess we should talk about, the devils in the room, EA and Activision at some point.
Oh, no, we don't.
Well, they're at E3 and
we're really dope. Yeah, but we always, but for EA especially, when do we ever give EA the time more than a fucking minute and then just immediately go into the next company? So
yeah,
I don't care. I don't care about EA.
I mean, honestly, I have no idea what they're doing whatsoever. I don't follow them.
Yeah. Neither do I. So it's like, I acknowledge that they are there. Moving on.
All right, so pass over to them. Activision, considering they still have, Crash and Spyro and stuff. And yeah, the whole Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob situation.
I will be shocked if they actually give the Call of Duty game any time in the limelight, given everything that's happened behind the scenes.
It's also their big moneymaker, though, for the most part. So they're gonna talk about it, but it's a matter of how are they going to present it? How are they going to excuse putting two talented developers that revive things that people really liked onto more Call of Duty? So
yeah, it's just a bad look, and everyone's really not happy about it. Between
that and their Blizzard handling.
Yeah, and speaking of Blizzard, is it possible we'll see Diablo 4 or the Diablo 2 remake?
I think we'll see the Diablo 2 remake before we see 4.
I mean, yeah.
Both would guarantee numbers at some capacity.
Yeah,
the question is which one more.
I also know Tony Hawk 1 and 2 is being ported to Switch, but other than that, I don't know what else they have going on.
There's been herming and hawing about a potential behind the scenes roadmap of what they plan to do with Crash. So it'll be interesting to see if any of that shows up, considering one of them is a big thing regarding a different company, which you can probably already guess what that is. But
you mean basically just doing damage control, given everything that's happened behind the scenes?
Potentially damage control, but
it's definitely damage control.
The roadmap, supposedly, again, completely rumors, take it with a grain of salt, is there is a Crash in development, but it's not going to show up here. There's going to be kind of a free-to-play Crash Bash kind of game, coming out in a sense, and part of the roadmap is Crash is going to get that invitation in the mail, but that's been a rumor for a while and it keeps not happening, so I'm not inclined to believe it. So, again,
yeah, Crash gets a letter in the mail and it has the Smash element in it, but he opens it up and it says Mario and Rabbids 2 are now in development, and it's like it's sending all the fucking mixed signals in the world.
But we'll save Smash talk for when we get to Nintendo, because we're inevitably going to spend time on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, Activision's going to be weird, considering they could announce stuff that could be fun with Crash and Spyro and things like that, but I don't have any hope for them.
There's just kind of a humongous elephant in the room, given what happened with Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob. So, yeah.
Does anyone have any other big companies they want to talk about off the top of their head?
Well, it's not a big company, and I know for me, I'm interested in what Xseed is doing. I don't know about anybody else.
I occasionally look at Xseed because they'll once in a while release something I'm actually interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I know their big game, the C3 is going to be Rune Factory 5, and I am interested in that. I'm a fan of the farm sim games.
Is that are they doing kind of like the whole? Are they the ones who had like kind of like the split versions of the farm games back in the day?
Well, they're publishing one side of it. I think they're publishing it's not named Harvest Moon anymore, but they're publishing the Harvest Moon games, and then Natsume is publishing what is titled the Harvest Moon games, but that team isn't working on them, so it's a confusing thing. But
see.
I am interested in them.
I forget. Are they the ones who published Sakuna of Rice and Ruin?
Yes, that did very well.
Yeah, that did very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they announced, "Hey, that did really well. We're making a second one."
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd be a fan of that.
Yeah, so that could be good news.
Is THQ gonna be there?
Yeah, THQ Nordic. So they're gonna do their presentation on 8chan.
Yeah.
Oh my
god. Yeah, I want nothing to do with them anymore. So
Yeah.
No, neither do I. No, thank you. Oh God.
I know Limited Run is doing their thing again, which is usually pretty good news.
Yeah, I mean,
I know people like to give them crap because it's not really physical because they have limited windows. Like, the point is to get a physical version at all.
yeah, that's the point.
So they're selling about it. They're selling about as much as they're reasonably ever going to get.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
they aren't a giant company. They're kind of doing this as they're kind of indie themselves in many ways. The fact that they can put out as much as they can is kind of a miracle in itself.
Yeah, and for most of these, it's better than nothing. It's like you're not going to get. Oh crap! Who's the company that produces the Hollow Knight cartridges?
I don't know, but like they just announced a physical edition for Blaster Master 03.
03. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
for that.
and it's like Into Creates isn't big. They would never do a physical edition for that. So it's just fun that it exists at all.
Yeah, it's like, we got the Bug Fables pre-order a little while ago. We finally got Scott Pilgrim on physical. So, as much as I would like them to have, ability to buy them indefinitely, the fact we're getting these at all is always a good thing. So
yeah.
I'm always pleased to watch them and to see what.
And I also
it's exciting.
and I like that they kind of have like tiers. So like if you just want the physical edition for like No More Heroes 2, it's gonna cost you $59.99.
$35.
So it'll cost you as much as a new game. But then if you want like the super special like Mega Edition, you can spend $200 and they'll give you like a ton of merchandise.
Yeah, I mean I usually buy the base version because I just want the game, but occasionally I'll splurge on something nice. That as much as I would want it, I didn't have the money to get that massive Castlevania collection.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, they're on Monday of E3, I think, later on, which will be interesting considering Sony's not at E3, but that's usually around the time Sony does their thing.
Yeah, I don't know
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly their time is, but they are promising, I think, 25 announcements.
Something like that. They're Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I think. So that's around the time Sony would potentially do something. And I know they're not at E3 or the Summer Games Fest, but they're going to do something that week.
They're going to do something. Yeah, they're most definitely going to do something.
All right, so
Again,
I guess
keep an eye on social media.
Yeah. So, does anyone have any other third parties to talk about, or should we move on to the kind of the big three as usual?
Hold on, let me go through this list real quick.
I would bring up Bethesda, but they're Xbox now, so
yeah, yeah, just put that under the Microsoft umbrella. Now, there's nothing really that comes to mind that I would like go bonkers for just an idea of them announcing something. So no, I think we can head into the major three.
I
If,
assume
nobody
I
has any
assume we'll save
objections.
Nintendo for last, as we usually do.
Yeah, because it always goes all the longest.
All right, preference on Xbox or PlayStation first?
Xbox probably.
Okay, so Xbox then. This is going to be a weird year for them, I feel, considering all the new systems are kind of just selling out super fast, kind of no matter what. So this needs to be the year their studio acquisitions really start bearing fruit. We all knew when they started buying all these companies late Xbone that the point wasn't to save the Xbone, it was to make whatever the next system was, more important. So the first year of the Series X so far has been fine, but it's kind of just been more of the same. It's very heavy third-party support. And after Halo Infinite kind of really didn't impress people, I'm very curious as to what their studio acquisitions are finally going to be producing, because now's the time to start showing that shit off.
I would say though, Xbox or just Microsoft with the Xbox has a very interesting sort of opportunity, if that's the way to describe it, because of the pandemic and everything that's been going around for like the last year. PC parts, from what I understand, like graphics cards, especially and CPUs, have been very hard to get. And while that's no different than saying like the Series X is also pretty hard to get, I have a feeling that the fallout from that is going to favor people getting a Series X, because ever since the introduction of the SSD for consoles, that's kind of like a major reason why you would even like get one in the first place, because you have substantially fast load times and just processing speeds that like the gap between having a PC build and a console is shrinking day by day. And given what's happening with like PC parts and all that, I got a feeling that Microsoft could take advantage of that if they just bring out more units and get it to people's shelves on time. Because I for the first time ever in like a few years after the 360 especially, I see an incentive to get a Series X, considering you have a really sexy piece of hardware on top of the Game Pass and the promise of a lot of first-party titles now that there are a lot of studios under Microsoft's umbrella.
Yeah, that's good again, but will they show it? Because they've had these studios for a while, and if they're going to show it, now's the time to start showing what they've been working on, because whether they think so or not, Halo is not going to carry the system as it did Xbox One and 360.
Has Halo carried the system though at all? Like since
360?
3 or 4? Yeah.
No, it hasn't. And
Yeah.
I think they're based on the fact that Halo's the only big first-party game that they've really shown off in any sense for the Series X. I think they're putting a little too much pressure on that game to carry the system.
Well, remember, that was kind of the entire point, though, with E3 2019, where they announced all those first-party acquisitions, or at least new companies, because I think they wanted to avoid that. But then again, last year we didn't have an E3 because of the pandemic, and I think that kind of just went under the radar for a lot of folks. So I think I can be optimistic to say that they do have things under their belt. We just don't know exactly what that is yet.
Yeah, and
That doesn't involve Halo.
yeah, and I mean Jeff Grubb kind of said what he's pretty confident isn't going to be at the Microsoft show. We're not going to see Rare's Everwild, and we aren't going to see Hellblade. Those won't be there. So I do think the show is 90 minutes. A good portion of that I do think is going to be some kind of like Halo demo. The new Forza. There's always a Forza.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's 90 minutes, but how much of that is going to be just whatever Bethesda was going to show if they were third party anyway?
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to see Starfield. Who knows if it's going to get a release date, but we're going to see that.
Are we going to see Elder Scrolls 6 at all?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it's still too soon to say anything about Elder Scrolls 6, despite that game being revealed 2-3 years ago.
I don't think it was in development. I think they just put together a graphic saying after Starfield this is the plan, and I don't think they're done with Starfield yet.
Over a generic helicopter shot over New Zealand.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, but I do think that's true. I think probably 30 minutes of the 90 minutes will be what Bethesda's conference would have been. and then it'll probably be an hour for Xbox stuff. And I
Yeah.
think some people have been like teasing the event, and then they say it's a good show. There's plenty of reveals, but it's not like a mind-blowing kind of thing. So to like keep your expectations, normal.
That I'll be curious to see, considering not to be too Sony fanboy here, but I think they need that blowout, mind-blowing presentation.
Yeah, they do.
Considering despite how the shortages of the PS5 is still selling like hotcakes, and they can eat into some market share just by nature of not being the Xbox One and that disaster of a launch, but they need to wow people to kind of really edge themselves in. Otherwise, I think they're going to be stuck in the same position of there's Nintendo and Sony, and then there's kind of Xbox beneath them.
Yeah, and I kind of think that's where they are now a little bit.
I mean, they're trying to get out of it, but if they're going to have just a good but not great showing, I think that doesn't do them any favors long term.
It's a priority, but I don't think it's the priority, given that you can wow people as much as you want, but if they still can't get the fucking console, what's the point? Like, they need to address the numbers and all that sort of thing.
That's unfortunately going to be every company, considering the shortages of chips and all this other stuff. So that's not exclusively a Microsoft problem, but I think more the point of having that WoW presentation is to get people to say, oh, I don't need to buy a PlayStation 5. I want to buy an Xbox Series X now. Whenever they can become available and I can actually get one is more the thing. Because if you just have a good but not great conference, people will potentially look and say, that's good, but I'm still holding out for a PS5 whenever that comes out. I can actually get one. I think that's kind of the tough position Xbox has found itself in, and that's not an enviable position. Not saying they can't do it, but if the rumblings are it's a good but not great presentation, I think that's more hurtful for Xbox than it is particularly helpful. But that's just me kind of being, Monday morning quarterbacking. I mean, does anyone have any particular wants, specific game-wise from potential Xbox, Bethesda, Double Fine, whatever else they have?
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking.
sorry. Yeah, I mean,
No, I mean. No, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I'm not really a huge Microsoft fan. I don't think I'm probably ever going to get an Xbox One. I mean, they would have to announce like 25 JRPGs, and everything Nintendo's doing is going to have to be on it for me to even like consider it. But I would like to see Killer Instinct come back.
That could be good. I mean, my want is for them to finally acknowledge that Rare has not been the same since they bought them, and they've been trying so many different things. I think it's time to say, okay, make something that's guaranteed to be quality and just pull the plug, pull the lever on, remake Banjo 1 and 2E. Just do it. It works super well for Crash. It works super well for Spyro. Just do it. It'll get people excited, and it'll get people to actually pay attention to it.
I have nothing to really add to Microsoft because I've been just that guy that says I can just get it on PC.
All right, when is that? All right, are they still making that George R. R. Martin written game? It's taking about as long as it takes him for him to actually write a book. So,
Elden Ring, yeah, but I think Jeff Grubb teased that that's not going to be at E3.
But that's been announced like 3 or 4 years ago. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but he seemed pretty convinced.
Yeah, fair enough then. Guess don't expect that then. I guess we'll move on to Sony then.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they haven't specifically announced anything, but they're going to have a not E3 presentation. There's no reason for them not to. They're in a fairly good position, I think, considering Ratchet comes out shortly after E3, which is going to get attention. Horizon, I think, is going to be their big game this year, which they just showed gameplay of, which looks even more not Breath of the Wild-y. With their, like, hang glider thing. Did you watch that, John?
I did not watch the state of play with Horizon, though.
She literally has the paraglider from Breath of the Wild now.
Really? Well, I mean, Wind Waker had the Breath of the Wild paraglider. The idea of a paraglider is nothing, too out there in terms of like comparing to Zelda. I mean, yeah, I guess it's an easy comparison given Breath of the Wild. It's just a couple of years old, but still,
it'll be interesting if Horizon and Zelda go up together, go head to head together again.
Yeah,
because they came out in the same week.
The other game that's coming out for PS5. What was it? it's the girl in the forest with the little creatures.
Oh, Kina.
Kina, yeah, there you go.
That better have a full gameplay reveal.
I would like that, yeah, because I'm very interested in that game. More so than Horizon, but only because I didn't really play the first game. Yeah, even to this day, I still have not played Horizon.
It's functionally speaking on a base level. It's Sony's Breath of the Wild.
Right? Yeah, because I think the game is gorgeous. I think the game functionally looks solid. I see my brother Mark play it all the time. He loves it. But it's also like the initial interest wasn't there for me at the start. So needless to say, that kind of goes into the sequel as well.
Yeah, I guess my big question going into Sony is: are they going to show any solid stuff from God of War Ragnarok?
I am not expecting anything from God of War.
How about you, Stealth? Any particular thoughts on kind of their big already known games?
Well, I don't think Sony is gonna. Well, what I don't know what kind of presence they're actually gonna have at the summer event. Like, are they just gonna show one thing in a larger event, or are they gonna have their own event? I really don't know. I don't think we're gonna see God of War this year. I just don't. I do think Horizon is probably gonna be their holiday game. And I know Gran Turismo was pushed out of this year, so I do think that Horizon is probably the horse that they're gonna be backing.
That's fair. I'm curious as to what they're gonna do third-party wise for their show, considering third party's been a bit sparse early on. That's kind of just a new system thing in general, I feel. Will we see, will they do kind of what they did in previous years where they show, more Square Enix, except that Square Enix already showed, that sort of thing? Or will they? I believe
Square is going to have a substantial holding, though, for whatever they have in mind, if they decide to do anything.
Yeah, but previous years at Sony's E3s, they would have, here's some Final Fantasy stuff, which you saw yesterday at Square's thing.
Yeah.
So will they actually do kind of that situation again, or will they actually have announcements? But
it's kind of going to what Stout said earlier. It's kind of hard to say, given we don't exactly know how they're going to present themselves at all.
Yeah.
During the event process. So
if I had to make a guess, they'll do kind of their generalized state of play sometime that week. Would be my guess.
Yeah, and usually their states of play are no longer than like 20 minutes. Like, they're not long events.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, I think Sony's in a pretty good spot. I mean, I think their first party games are, they've actually released quite a bit on PS5 already. Certainly more than Microsoft's been able to do. And, the third parties from Japan have been starting to pick up. So, I do think Sony's in a pretty good place even without, like, being at E3. But, yeah, I mean, I think the shoe is going to drop soon for, like, a God of War delay. And I think that's just gonna happen. I think they might do it like after like all this E3 stuff is over.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't entirely surprise me. I mentioned this on Twitter a few days ago, but I get the feeling they took a play out of Nintendo's book with the Switch, where they made sure that first year has a ton of quality first party stuff because it launched with Spider-Man. We're getting Ratchet, we're getting Horizon this year. It's not strictly first party because it's Capcom, but they made a big deal to make sure that everyone knew Resident Evil 8 is a big release this year for them. And depending on what Square does with Final Fantasy, that could be another big push from them. So I think that was something they took from Nintendo's playbook to make sure that first year is as good as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on to Nintendo then. We know they're having their E3 Direct, which is what they usually do, considering they've been doing that for a while. This is a weird year, considering I don't think they're going to be... E3s for them are usually through the end of the year games. So I don't think we'll really see Splatoon 3, and I don't think we'll see, Project Triangle Strategy. So the only things I can guarantee are they're going to show a Smash character, duh. Mm-hmm. And they're finally going to have to show Breath of the Wild 2, because if it doesn't show up here, then that game is in some serious trouble, I think.
They definitely get heads boiling. I know that for a fact. I'll disagree that they won't show anything from Splatoon 3. I think they'll show something from Splatoon 3. Likely not much, but something more than what they showed us last time during the initial reveal. The same goes for Triangle Strategy. I think they'll also spend just a bit of time on it, but not much. But it will get some representation. Smash Ultimate is a given. That's easy. I want Breath of the Wild 2, but I still have this lingering feeling that they're not going to give us what we exactly yearned for. But I agree that it needs to be there in some capacity because what the hell is happening? You know, this is this predates the pandemic and all sort of shit. It's like you reveal the game and it looks like it's a work. I mean, obviously it's a work in progress, but I mean, what's the update? What's the 401? They said that they were going to show off something for this presentation because we had that presentation for like the anniversary earlier this year, right? Where they revealed Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah, I mean, in the last Nintendo Direct in February, Aonuma said that they're going to show more of it later this year. And to me, like later this year, kind of means E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's it's the 35th anniversary. Skyward Sword, for those who like it, is nice, but it is ultimately a port. It's also it's been a little over 4 years since Breath of the Wild 1 came out. Even for a company like Nintendo that wants to polish things as much as possible, it usually doesn't take that long to effectively do, the same assets, the same physics, et cetera, sequel. Obviously, pandemic happened, and they obviously might want to have waited for the 35th anniversary, but it has to show up here.
We got to get something, yeah. There has to be something of the sort.
If it doesn't show up at E3, then something tells me something went terribly wrong behind the scenes, and they're not close to being done.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you both. There's 100% chance that the very first thing we see is the next Smash character. And there's a possibility that they might even announce the last one too. It wouldn't come out around the E3 period, but they would announce it. As much as we get these fake Nintendo leaks of like everything new, they are going to show off Skyward Sword and Mario Golf, which come out right around the same time. We're going to get trailers for those or something. And then I don't know if we're going to see Pokemon, because Pokemon Company just announced the release dates for their big games. So I don't know if we're going to see that.
Yeah, we might see a bit of the Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, maybe
just a small bit.
But
we're not going to see Arceus. I am very concerned for that game.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, can I ask why? Because I haven't been following Arceus.
The initial reveal was extremely poor.
Oh, okay. We're going back to that old nugget. Okay.
So the fact that it comes out basically less than a year after it was initially revealed in that state leads to believe. Game Freak is not a quality developer behind the scenes. They're just not. They don't really build games super well. So I have zero confidence that they could, within a year somehow fix that game up.
Yeah, but Nintendo usually uses E3 to announce, their August, September, October, November, December games. There's a lot that they could announce. There's been rumors of a new Donkey Kong game. There's actually really. Like a lot of people are saying that there's a 2D Metroid game. So
that's been a rumor for multiple years now.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me, stuff.
Yeah, I know. but there's just a lot of rumors floating around of what they could show. Yeah. Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2 needs to be shown. Whether it's the last thing, somewhere in the middle, they need to show it. It needs to be there. And then of course they have the surprises. So, they'll have their third-party ports. They always do. I think, obviously everyone knows me as the Nintendo fan, but that's obviously the show I'm most looking forward to.
I think it's the one whenever we do these conversations, Nintendo's always the one we spend the most time on.
Yeah,
PrE3 and E3.
Because like if we look at like the last E3 Nintendo Direct from 2019, they announced 2 Smash characters. They showed off Breath of the Wild 2, No More Heroes 3, which actually I think is going to be there too. It was a great event. Honestly, it was probably my favorite event of that E3. So, Nintendo, if they want to blow people away, I think they have the material to do so.
Yeah, my concern about it so far is what we know about upcoming Switch titles. We know Breath of the Wild 2. We know Splatoon 3. We know Project Triangle Strategy, which, while not in the same particular genre, is the HD 2D look with, turn-based RPG mechanics. My concern is I don't want the back half of the Switch's life to be the first half of the Switch's life plus 1. Which I hope that this presentation, isn't just, oh, it's Breath of the Wild 2 and Splatoon 3, and surprise, here's Mario Odyssey 2 and Fire Emblem Four Houses, and so on and so forth. I don't want it to just be the same stuff we already got. I want them to really show me something new or bring back something old, something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, and
to make sure it's not just kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and I think Pokemon Snap kind of fits that bill of something that's old, but like something that we haven't seen in a while. But yeah, I mean, I do think there's a good possibility that we're gonna see a Metroid game. We're gonna see Donkey Kong, Zelda. I mean, we're gonna see the stand. I mean, we're gonna see Nintendo's primary IP. That's just what they do. But for me, it's always interesting to see like what's coming to Switch that from a third party perspective that you didn't think would ever show up on Switch. Like that's always like kind of exciting for me. So I am wondering about like what third party games are they going to announce during this direct?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably see, as rumored, Revelations 3, which wouldn't surprise me. Sega and Sonic in some capacity is going to be there, whether it's showing off more colors.
Yeah, I'm not looking at anything besides Colors Ultimate.
Yeah, so we'll see. They also like to focus on indie stuff, which is always good. So,
okay. But they'll likely just get a scissor reel.
Yeah,
so.
they don't focus on small indies during like a main Nintendo Direct. They save that for like the Indie World Directs. I mean, honestly, I think before the Hollow Knight studio said that like Hollow Knight wasn't going to be at E3, I would have bet that Silk Song was going to be there. I would have bet money on that.
They'll occasionally give the spotlight to a bigger indie. Like
I do.
They'll give Way Forward and Yacht Club sometimes.
Yeah, I think Sports Story might fit that bill too.
Yeah. So I mean, just to go on that little indie thing, Way Forward has said multiple times that they have some pretty decently sized stuff, So I could see, Nintendo showing, oh, hey, here's the first look at River City Girls 2 or whatever Way Forward has to show as well. That's kind of like
a Shantae game or something from the Mighty series. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
It was a pretty exciting when Way Forward has something new to announce.
Yeah, so, I mean, Nintendo's always kind of the wild card because we never really know what they have, but
yeah.
My hope is that it's not Switch first half +1, so we'll see. Should we end off on kind of? Sorry, go on.
Do you both think that they're actually going to announce their Direct this week?
It's hard to say. They usually don't announce the Direct time until within the week, but considering the situation, they might. My concern is that they'll just drop the Switch Pro announcement and everyone's scrambling to try and get one.
Yeah, I'm going to be scrambling.
Oh my god. Yeah, so am I. Because I feel we deal with a Switch Pro rumor every year, especially for like the last a year after the original Switch was released. But I don't know why the fires are being stoked so strongly this time compared to last time.
It's because Bloomberg jumped onto it.
Oh, really? Okay, that probably would be the reason. But it is something that needs to happen, I do believe. And
with the new consoles coming out with PS5 and Series X, Nintendo's back into that position where they're now a little too far behind tech-wise to get a lot of.
It's the SSD.
Ports. Yeah,
like specifically, it's not even about horsepower at this point. It's just the SSD. Like that's all you really need. Me personally, that's all you need to do. Is just release a Switch that has an SSD.
There are a few other things I would do. Like I would make the dock a bit bigger and put some sort of storage inside the dock.
Right.
So you don't have to worry so much about
just make a dedicated console version of Switch since you already threw the moniker out with the Switch Lite.
Yeah. But we'll see with that considering the rumor mill is saying they're going to announce it within the next week or two. So third parties can announce their Switch Pro version games that'll run better on Switch Pro and stuff, but we'll see about that.
Like all the retail sites are going to go down.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. I have my methods.
It's like you thought the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X was bad. Wait until Nintendo starts fucking.
Again, I have my methods.
Yeah. I mean, top men, and it just cuts to the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's me in a trench coat and glasses walking into the mall or something. Should we enter Nintendo's discussion on the inevitable Smash we're going to be talking about?
And every week I feel like I'm asked about Smash Ultimate predictions and that sort of thing, and I can't stress enough how much I don't give a shit who gets in the game. Because to me, the roster is already incredible. like as it
Yeah,
is,
that's
and
like
everything else is just a bonus.
Yeah, that's like I tweeted that exact thing like not that long ago, where it's like, how could you possibly complain when the roster's already 80 plus characters? Like, obviously we all have characters we'd like, but come on, it could be anybody, and Sakurai will make them interesting and unique, um, and
Unless it's Fire Emblem, in which case everyone's going to bitch.
yeah, well, yeah, and they'll be great. You know, it's funny because when Byleth was announced, I tweeted, it's like, yeah, let's just all like I'm gonna tell Nintendo I want more Final Fantasy, I want more Fire Emblem characters, just because it was annoying me how many people were just complaining after all the great stuff that we've gotten. But yeah, it really doesn't matter. I do think we're gonna get one character revealed at the very first thing of the direct, and it'll be out within like a week. And the Sakurai Presents. And then they might announce a character toward the end of the direct that comes out during the holiday, and that's like the final character. But yeah, I don't know who it is. People have made predictions. Most of us have been wrong constantly.
I am not predicting anything because the last time I did multiple times, Travis Touchdown got a me costume.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, really, it could be anybody because Sakurai has ties with anybody, and any developer will say yes, please, when Sakurai comes knocking. So it really could be anybody.
Is there anyone in particular you would want? Not saying you predict them, but is there any, if you got to choose, who would it be, Stealth?
I mean, I think a good final super, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening kind of character is like a Sony X Nintendo, maybe Kratos, someone from Sony.
I have a weird inkling that Ratchet may be possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sony would be like a good last company. Obviously Crash Bandicoot is possible. Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden is possible.
Didn't they say that that's not happening?
Well, no, they said something vague, something more vague. But really, they would never say if it was true or not. They would lie.
It's one of. I mean, they wouldn't say if it was true, but I think they would just avoid the question altogether.
Yeah, I don't know, but
talks.
I mean, honestly, I can't.
Usually, when a company, I'm not going to rule anyone
Yeah.
out, but it's usually if they actually talk about it in that sense, that usually means no.
Yeah, I mean, I think Square Enix is done with their characters. I mean, a Sega character might be possible. I mean, there's really literally no way of knowing who they picked.
No, not at all.
If you put a gun to my head and told me put $50 on any two characters, I would still say Crash and Shantae. Just based on relationships, popularity across the board, not just the U.S. They're characters that are actually popular in Japan.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, those are two characters I would love to see in the game, but I'm not expecting them.
I'm not expecting them at all. I'm just
know.
saying, if you force me to put money in Vegas on any two characters, I would probably put it on those two.
Yeah, and Sakurai did mention, I think in his latest column, there's no, he's not even teasing a season 3. I think this is it. When these two characters are out, the game's done.
Which is
I'm
fine.
99% sure willing to believe him. The only 1% is, do you know about the website metadata look at, Stealth?
I don't.
Okay, so how the website for Smash works is, when it comes to the Fighter Pass data, Fighter Pass 1 has 6 metadatas underneath it. That's 5 characters and the Mii costume. So you have Joker, you have Hero, you have Banjo, you have Terry, and you have Byleth, and then the page for information on the Mii costume. For Pass 2, it is not 6 characters in the Mii costume, it is 7 characters in the Mii costume.
So you think there could be one extra character?
There might be, a third anniversary character, potentially. And the rumor mill is, one last Microsoft character, but we'll see. I'm not expecting it. If Sakurai says it's 2 characters, I'm inclined to believe him. But there is that one little 1% nagging feeling that, that's weird that the website is set up that way.
Yeah, and actually the one thing we didn't talk about, I don't know how big of fans you guys are of the studio, but do you think we'll see Monolith Soft's next game at E3?
I think that will depend entirely on how far along Breath of the Wild 2 is.
So if it's pretty far along, we'll see their next RPG?
Yeah, I think so. If Breath of the Wild is still, it's coming out late December, it's coming out at the tail end of the year, then possibly not.
Yeah, and then there's also what Next Level Games is doing, because Luigi's Mansion 3 came out a couple years ago now. So they might also be showing something off.
I want them to work on their own original project. I think they've proven they have the quality chops that Nintendo should give them the chance to make their own thing and not strictly be, a Nintendo IP.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. Give me another Punch Out.
Yeah, I would love that. I don't want them to be like the Luigi's Mansion studio, where like in 10 years we're at Luigi's Mansion 7. I do want them to do other things too. I think they're very talented.
Over under on if we see Prime 4 or not. I say no.
No, I'm not expecting anything. Prime
No,
4.
but we will see either a Prime collection or we will see the 2D Metroid that Mercury Steam was rumored to be doing. We will see We will see Metroid. I don't think it's going to be Prime 4 though.
What about the rumor of a Samus in Fortnite?
I don't really care.
I don't care.
I don't either, because they're just Mii costumes. Everyone does a whole thing where, hey, the new characters out, haha, they're doing their silly Fortnite dance, and everyone forgets it exists.
Yeah. We were getting into it like a week ago about how it's it could be ultimately good for the series because it gets the Fortnite exposure, it gets the Fortnite push just to increase the notoriety of the series. So that's why I'm really not too bugged about that sort of thing, because I'm not one to say Samus shouldn't be doing the Orange Justice dance. Why is she doing that?
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just I think people make way too big of a deal of character is coming to Fortnite when it really doesn't matter.
I mean, people are excited for new Smash entries,
Well, they play differently, though, is the thing. In Fortnite, everyone does the same thing.
But we're not talking about how differently they play. We're talking about how people know them. That's different.
Yeah, I still say it's kind of different, but to each their opinion of that.
I would Switch Prime Trilogy on Switch is something I've been wanting for a couple of years now, and one I think they should finally pull the trigger on for the anniversary. Crackheaded theory, I would love. Well, not crackheaded theory, but crackheaded expectation is some sort of Metroid collection. Besides Prime Trilogy, I mean, like 2D stuff, like Fusion, Zero Mission, Super. Give us something.
Do you think that after they remade 2 with I forget the company's name, do you think that potentially they would follow the rumor mill after that and actually remake Super?
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but you don't need to remake Super.
You don't need to remake Resident Evil 4, but here we are.
Yeah, I know, but given how... so Samus Returns, the 3DS game, ends with a pretty interesting cliffhanger, and that's what I want to follow up on.
Finally get Metroid 5?
That or some sort of in-between game between 2 and Super that goes into what that game teased. Because that's what I'm interested in. Not so much of a remake of a game that's already phenomenal, but like a new direction in the story that, for once doesn't involve like the Galactic Federation being Galactic Federation or some other things. Like, no, I want to go into the Chozo side of things. That's what I want. And I have my problems with Samus Returns, but it's still a very solid game, and I really want to see what they could do to fine tune and make a very riveting experience. Because man, it's the 35th anniversary, man. Let's celebrate it, please.
My personal, crack potentially happening thing is, John obviously knows where I'm going to be going with this once I start, but Togami, I think, is his name, the Yakuza producer. Multiple times earlier in the year said he wants to make an F-Zero. Could they potentially say, yes, we're finally doing it?
If they are, I don't think they'd be announcing something this year.
No, not this year. But my crack thing is they might say, hey, we have the Yakuza producer working on F-Zero for us. Be amazed, sort of thing.
Like another title screen job, basically.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the Yakuza team, I could see them developing F-Zero, but only for PlayStation 5. Because they really do not like Nintendo at all.
We'll see. I mean, Togami could potentially mend that bridge a little bit. I also wonder if the Yakuza thing is partially because Nintendo wants nothing to do with the idea of Yakuza.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that the rumor that they didn't want to glorify organized crime or something?
Something like that, yeah. So it could potentially be that, but I mean, it's my crack, dream want.
The crack.
So I'm not expecting it. Just
I mean,
it's one of those things. It's one of those. Why would Togami bring it up multiple times if there wasn't something there that he's talking to them?
Probably just to gauge interest.
But potentially.
Are we finally going to see Bayonetta 3?
No.
I think that game got a prime.
Bayonetta 3 sharing a bunk bed would be on Good and Evil 2.
Yeah. No, I think Bayonetta 3 got the Prime 4 treatment where it got like a year into a development and then it just wasn't working out and they're still struggling to restart it. Which is a shame because I know people have been wanting that for a while, but it is what it is.
Like, I want it.
What about you, Stealth? What's your crack dream wish from Nintendo?
Boy, I would like to see a Super Mario Odyssey 2. I love 3D platformers. Whatever the 3D Mario team does is usually pretty darn good. I would like to see that. In terms of like a new IP, in terms of like something that's totally out there, I would like to see Golden Sun revived somehow.
Ask Square for the HD 2D engine and make Golden Sun.
Oh, that'd be amazing. But yeah,
That
I
would
mean
be
that's like on the
cool.
level of like F-Zero. Like I'm not like those series are just on the shelf, and it's gonna take some kind of miracle to get them off.
Yeah, so I think we've covered most of the main companies we'd be interested in for this E3/Summer Game Fest / whatever they decide to do. Any last potential thoughts on it, or shall we wrap things up?
I think we can safely wrap things up at this point because nothing immediately strings. I mean, every time we do these discussions, there's always like one or two companies we miss, but it's also like if they don't immediately spring to mind, I don't really care. Or maybe I just didn't get enough coffee, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I'm looking forward
I'm
to
happy again that the events are happening at all. It's going to be a very fun week of stuff because the presentations themselves is one thing, but the one thing I really look forward to the most is just everyone's reactions to everything.
Everyone gets to do live streams now. And
Yeah, all their
stuff.
live streams, all their live tweets, the fallout for everything that's happening. It's a very exciting time. Again, it's Christmas time for gamers, basically. And that, among everything else, even if the announcements are not that stellar, seeing everyone respond to those mediocre reveals and all that is more fun than the actual reveal itself. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. I love watching the event and then immediately watching the reactions of the streams and then the live videos. That's like my favorite part. Yeah, and like there's just a lot of excitement. Not everything is going to appeal to everybody, but I feel like everyone's gonna find something that they didn't expect that's really exciting for them. Like last year, Nintendo didn't have a direct, and the announcements that were there weren't that great. And this year, I think people are just grateful for what we didn't have last year.
Yeah, I think that's going to kind of set the mood where even if it's very so-so E3s for most companies, I think everyone's just going to be happy we have it, which may help a little bit. But, we'll have to see. I mean, first, as I mentioned at the start, the first years of new consoles is usually a pretty exciting time because where they finally get to really show their stuff after a year of working on the things. So we'll see. But I appreciate everyone in the audience taking the time to listen to our little PrE3 podcast as we usually do whenever there actually is an E3. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you for probably a post E3 discussion where we go over everything. Or if you just want to watch our live stream reactions, whether it's with Stealth on his Twitter, whatever podcast he may be joining, or me and John doing live streams, we'll have to see. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you all later.